Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back. This is my first video. We're going to go through everything with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I'm going to show you how to play the game, some basic mechanics and some basic things to know when you're playing Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So here we are at the character select screen. We have like 50 something characters, 40 something characters. I don't remember the total. But there's a bunch of characters on the screen. Now before you play the game, you choose 3 characters before heading into a match, and you put them in an order. So usually there's certain characters that are good at certain positions. Certain characters are better at the 1, 2, or the 3. But just to start off, I'm going to pick out 3 random characters. I'm going to play Wolverine. When you pick your character, there's something that's called the assist, and I'll get into that later. Just pick whatever it comes up with. Just so you want to learn the game, what you're doing first. And the 3rd character I'm going to pick is Strider. So I'm going to go into the game. It's habit. I pick these assists, but we'll explain that later. So I'm going to random all the other team, the other set of characters, and random the stage. I'm just going to get into the action, and, show what we're doing here. So here we go. Here's my 3 characters that I just selected on the screen: Wolverine, Ryu, and Strider in that order. Alright, so when you look and you start the front of the match, the beginning of the match, you always start with level 1. Look at the bottom left of the screen, it says level 1. The beginning of every match, you always start with 1. It's called 1 bar. So that's for specials and all that kind of stuff, which I'll get into in a moment. The top is obviously your health bar. Once your health depletes, your character dies. Once all 3 characters are dead, the match is over. You can tag in your other characters if you'd like to control them by pressing and holding the trigger buttons on your controller or fight stick. And you press and hold them. So here's Ryu. And there's Strider. And then back to Wolverine. So you do control all 3 characters at the same time. The game is very different from that of like a Street Fighter or Blaze Blue or Mortal Kombat control scheme. You have 3 sets of attacks: a light, which you can see on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen coming up, a medium attack, and a heavy. And you also have crouching versions of these attacks as well. So you have lows, crouching low, crouching medium, and crouching heavy. Some people say low, medium, heavy, LMH, light, medium, fierce. There's all different notations for them. And then you have what is called a launcher attack. Now your launcher attack does one of 2 things usually. It'll either send your opponent sky high, or if they're in the air, straight down. So it's basically like a repositioning button, or like it's called the special button. But the way I see it is, it changes their trajectory, or changes where they are. It's either they're on the ground or they're going up. They're either going to the ground or they're going up in the air, depending on where you are as your character. Basic combos, or a basic string of effective attacks that you can use when you hit a character, is LMH. 95% of the characters in this game chain from low to high. So something that I could do would be medium H. Oh, this time. Medium H or low medium. And then common sense would tell you that I could go low, medium, heavy. So a lot of characters in this game can do that. Some characters can go low to H. Some characters can go only medium to heavy. Some characters can't do low, medium, heavy because of the range or the distance on their attacks. So that's basically a fundamental just attack that you can do to position yourself, your character. You block by holding away from your opponent, and you block low by holding down low. So I'm going to set up the player dummy here, and I'm going to set them to all guard, so they're going to block my attacks. When you block, a small little blue orb, or in some Spider-Man's case, the web ball, is going to appear, which signals that you're in what is called guard stun. Don't mind that. So look at Arthur. Oh, sorry. There's a blue little orb right there. That means that you're in guard stun. So what that means is that you can't do anything, but you're blocking. And when you're blocking, obviously you're not taking damage. And you can also blow block as well, which you do. You crouch, you hit down and away from your opponent as well to crouch block. Most of the time, you're going to be crouch blocking unless it's an aerial-based attack. You also have 4 sets of attacks in the air as well. You have your low, your medium, and your H. And this applies to all the characters. So this will go for Strider, low, medium, and H. So all characters in the game have aerial moves, ground moves, and crouching ground moves in the game as well. Now, they also have different, like I said before, different sets of strings and different ways to attack. So some characters also have what is called a command normal. It's a basic move. It's not a special move, but it's usually a directional input and a button. So, for instance, this is Strider's standing H. And this is his forward H, which is a really good move for Strider because it moves him forward, and he also pushes back when he's done with the move. So Wolverine has a move, it's down, forward, and medium, which hits really low. So that's an example of a command normal. Ryu also has a command normal that must be blocked high, so you cannot crouch. See how Arthur is crouching? Now he's going to stand. That's a move that must be blocking high. So those are the different types of moves and different kinds of special normals that certain characters may have. Some characters just have basic normals. Some characters have specials. Some characters, yeah. So there's all different kinds of characters. Now we're going to get into what a basic air or basic simple combo would look like with a typical character. So we're going to bring in another character because Arthur's kind of small and annoying. So we have a character right here, Felicia, from Darkstalkers. I'm going to beat her up for a little bit and show you a basic string of attacks you can do. That is the fundamental basic combo that everyone should basically learn in this game. It's low, medium, heavy, S, and when you launch them into the air, you press up to go towards your character that you're fighting, and then you hit medium, medium, H, S. It's kind of like a launch, bubble back down combo. Very simple combo that most characters in this game have. So an example would be Ryu. Now Ryu has the problem of not being able to connect a launcher after his standing normal H. See? So if I do low, medium, heavy launch, the S button will whiff because the range on his attack is very short. So I need to adjust that. So I know that Ryu has a really good crouching H, so I'm going to use the crouching H to combo and get the S to start that combo. So I'm now crouching 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, oh, miss it. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little different for me to talk and play at the same time, so bear with me. So that's something that you can do with Ryu. Strider, you could adjust that to do 1, 2, 3, 4 launch as opposed to 1, 2, 3. So I'm using the special ground normal, the command normal that I mentioned earlier. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I added an additional hit, so it's not 1, 2, 3 launch, 1, 2, 3 down. So Strider gets a little extra damage on the basic combo from that. Now we're going to get into special moves. I'm not going to teach everybody how to block or how to move. I would assume that most people can pick up a game and figure out how to move forward and move back. However, to dash, you double tap forward twice or backwards twice to dash forward and backwards. Most characters in the game can dash, some cannot. Some are more airborne characters, which I will explain in a few minutes or perhaps the next video. So some characters in the game have a really fast dash. Some characters in the game have a slower dash. So different characters have different speeds. Generally, the fast characters have fast dashes and the slow characters have slow dashes. Each character in the game also has a different set of health. So characters that have a lot of really good offense, really good options, and just tricks, usually have low health. Characters like Akuma, Strider, or Virgil. Those characters are very, very hard to play, but very good. Some examples of characters that have high health are Hulk, Nemesis, and Thor. They're very good. They do a really good chunk of damage, but they're not really good at opening up characters or creating opportunities compared to some of the other characters. So there's a different health ranking. So for example, Strider has like the lowest health in the entire game because Strider has probably some of the most potential in the entire game as a character. In theory, he's a very good character, I believe. But anyway, Strider has very low health. So that's just different kinds of stuff with that. Special moves. Each character has their own unique set of special moves that they do. There's different characteristics to each one. They each do different things, different values of damage, and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So let's get into one of Wolverine's special moves, or the motions that you would get to get those special moves. Most of the time you have what is called a quarter circle back motion, which is down to back, as you just saw in the motion there, or to forward. Right there. So down, down, forward, forward. In one smooth motion. And then you also have what is called an SRK, a Shoryuken motion, which is forward, down, forward, and a button. So Wolverine has something like that. It's called the Tornado Claw. He does. It's usually like an up forward move. Sometimes it's a teleport. It's very different depending on character. To see the command list, you just hit pause and you go to command list, click your character, and take a look at the moves. When it says attack, it means any button. Doesn't have to be a specific button. When it says 2 attacks, it means any 2 attack buttons unless specified. So you can do any form of 2 attacks. You can do the low and the high and the mid, the high and the low, whatever works for you. The low and the mid, doesn't matter. Unless certain characters in the game activate certain hypers by pressing certain buttons, and it will go in different directions. Examples would be Rocket Raccoon or Taskmaster. So that's the special moves. So each character has their own set of special moves. The next thing that I'm going to move on to, I'm going to move kind of quick, is the assists. When you're on the screen, you have access to 2 assists if both of your characters are alive. If you have one character alive, obviously you have access to only 1 assist. You bring the assist character out for a brief second by tapping the button that you would use to bring them in. So if I was holding, the left trigger to bring in Strider, I would tap the left trigger to bring in Strider to come on and be an assist. Assist characters are used to help extend combos and opportunities, or to create lockdown, to put someone to stun, or to get them out of trouble. So it's basically for defensive or offensive purposes, whatever you choose to have that be. So, for example, this is a Shoryuken reversal, a Shoryuken assist. When I'm in trouble, I would call Ryu to get them off of me, to back off, to, a GTFO kind of move. Get the hell off me, get the fuck off me. Strider's assist, which I hit the wrong button for, I'm sorry, is used for defensive purposes or combo purposes. That's why it's a very strong assist. There are 3 different assists for each character. So another assist would be something like this. That was Strider coming up with a Gram, and that creates a small wall bounce, I'm sorry. See? So we hit them against the wall, and they go off. There's different kinds of knockdowns and different kinds of attacks with special moves as well. So another move is that would create there's a move that creates ground bounces. There's moves that create ground bounces. So I could do a basic combo, low, medium, H, S, as I discussed before, launch this character up into the air, Felicia, and I could initiate a ground bounce with Wolverine. Certain characters do certain moves, and this is one of Wolverine's moves. Oh, I wasn't even thinking. Right there, I just did one of Wolverine's special moves, which is a dive kick, and I created a ground bounce. So as Felicia falls, she's going to bounce from the ground, and I'll be able to extend my combo. So Felicia just hit the ground, bounced, and then I was able to hit H and then S and continue a combo. From that, you can link to all different kinds of special fun stuff and do whatever you'd like to do. And I could also use certain characters to extend a combo. There are also moves in this game that hit what is called OTG, which stands for off the ground. So if I land a basic knockdown with one of my characters, I'm going to do a simple combo with Strider, basic stuff. Strider has a move that gives access to a character when they are dead on the ground, when they're flat on the ground. Wolverine also has a move like this, but he cannot capitalize on it by himself. So it would look something like this. That slide move. So when the character's on the ground after the S, they're down on the ground, I can hit them. If I do a normal move, I will not be able to hit them, thus creating the off-the-ground move. Ryu, there are certain characters that have certain special moves that are off the ground. So Ryu has a hyper move, which I will explain in a minute, that is off the ground. So while Felicia's on the ground, I'm able to do a Hadouken, an air special. Now that's the next segment. Each character has usually 2 or 3 hypers that they do. You use them by the bar that's on the bottom of the screen. So you have 2 Gars. Yours is where your characters are, obviously, and now Strider is at level 4. So certain bars certain hyper combos are going to use 1 bar, while others will use 3. No 2 or 1 or anything like that. So now I'm Strider, and I'm going to do my hyper. So let me look at my command list to see how I do that. And usually the hypers are the ones that are with the 2 attacks, the bottom. They're always at the bottom. So I know if I hit down to down, forward to forward, and 2 attack buttons, I'm going to do Legion. So I'm going to do Legion. Now here's the attack. Some hyper combos in the game are mashable. So when they come out and you activate them, if you hit 2 attack buttons or the L in the medium button or the H button really, really fast, it increases your damage. Some hypers aren't like that though, so you're going to have to experiment with them and figure out which ones are mashable. So that just took 1 bar. I was at 4 before, now I'm at 3 bars. So now I'm going to do Strider's level 3. So I go to Strider again, and I'm going to see what's his level 3. I have 2 level 3s. I'm going to activate Ouroboros. Ouroboros is a level 3, obviously, and it's going to burn those 3 bars. So here I go. And now I have those 3 bars. And now these little projectiles surround Strider and give him complete ground control. So I can just basically, as I press attack buttons, those projectiles will fire. Doesn't matter which one I press or what I do, it's going to fire. So now I have no meter. So I'm like, crap, I can't do anything anymore. So how do I build meter? You build meter by blocking, by getting hit, by attacking and connecting hits, or by having your opponent block. If you are hitting your opponent, you build more meter. If you get hit, you're building more meter. So you want to have basically you want to be offensive to build your meter. So right now I'm going to build a bar with Strider. Just build bar and keep it very simple. Okay, so right now I have 1 bar. So I'm going to build just another one, just to be great, just to do it. Keeping all of my combos very simple. So, boom. And now I have 2 bars. So let's say that I am very low on health and my Strider has been beaten up and I'm about to die and I want to get my other character in, but I don't want to do the cinematic thing because I don't want my character to be hurt when someone blocks it and they're standing there in their little pose. I just posed. So I want to bring in Ryu safely. He's my next character. The character order goes from the middle where the big one is to the bottom where the Ryu's icon is to the top where Wolverine's icon is. So on the right side that would be Felicia, Arthur, and then Spider-Man, Spider-Man. So the right trigger would correspond to my Wolverine and the left trigger would correspond to my Ryu if I was to tag them and call the assist like I covered before. So now what I want to do is I want to bring in Ryu. I got to bring him in. I'm low on health. What you can do is you can activate your hyper combo, and while it's active, do the next character's hyper combo, whatever input you would prefer, and you can bring a character in. There are certain characters can bring in certain characters safely, and that's where team placement also comes into play. You can bring characters in safely. So let me just regenerate my health to show how I can bring a character in safely. So I have Strider in here. It does mine. I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? Oh, I messed that up. I'm sorry. Ryu has a hyper combo where he charges himself up. It's basically like really fast, super duper duper fast, and he becomes faster and he does more damage while he does that well. It's like basically a power me up hyper combo, you can call it. A lot of characters in this game have power me up hyper combos like Felicia, Wolverine, Arthur, Ryu, let's see, who else? I can't think on the top of my head. Dante, Virgil, a bunch of characters have ways to speed themselves up or make themselves stronger. It's like, and then once they are active, once it is active, there's going to be a timer that appears above your hyper meter, that beat meter at the bottom, and it's like a timer. So you watch it, it's kind of dwindling down near the bottom. There it is. Doop. Now I'm out. So there's the basics on how to play, guys. Some basic hyper combo stuff, and next time I'm going to get into assists. So I hope you enjoyed my first video. Thanks, and please subscribe.